Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. Excuse me. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to be doing the 2015 James Bond film, Spectre. It was the latest film in the James Bond movie franchise, and the fourth film starring Daniel Craig as James Bond 007. Now, of course, it's obvious what the premise of this film, but just reading the title, which is Spectre. Which of course is the story of the Spectre organization, and is the rebooting and reimagining of the U.S. Spectre organization, which was in the, of course, obviously, the main evil organization that was in the earlier James Bond films, most notably the Sean Connery films, and of course the original novels written by Ian Fleming. Of course, ever since Daniel Craig took over the role as James Bond, it's been pretty much a reboot of the whole and the reimagining of the whole James Bond franchise. Because the James Bond franchise, even though there were huge movies, huge blockbusters, but the quality of the storylines have gone down, and you can almost give almost the same argument with Daniel Craig. Even though Daniel Craig is more ruthless, more stone-faced James Bond than Pierce Brosnan was. I'm not saying that Daniel Craig wasn't good in the movies; it just has a different take on it. And of course, in this film, Christopher Waltz plays Blofeld, and of course, which I haven't read the original novel, so I really can't compare the novels to the Bond films. And of course, Spectre is of course the original film, unlike Casino Royale, which was based on the actual very first Bond novel. Spectre, of course, starts off with James Bond in Mexico City during the Day of the Dead, during the Day of the Dead festival, and of course he gets sent there to kill an assassin, to assassinate the assassin. And of course, when he does do that, he almost takes on almost an entire city block, and that got blown up. A whole building gets blown up. He got almost barely made it out, and he of course does kill the person he was assigned to kill, which was an unofficial assignment, really the last assignment that Dame Judi Dench gave Bond. That was before she died, because it was sent to him. A video was sent to him by Dame Judi Dench's M to him to go do this assignment. Because apparently the guy who Bond was assigned to kill by Dame Judi Dench's M was part of this evil organization, which was of course was the premise of Daniel Craig's second Bond film, Quantum of Solace, where he was trying to infiltrate this evil organization. So of course that organization was brought up again in Spectre, which of course happens to be Spectre. And of course then Craig trying to track down someone who can help him infiltrate this organization. And he tracks down this crazy doctor who happens to kill himself in front of Bond. But before he did that, he said, "I want you to protect my daughter from this." Which of course Bond does track down and help, and of course eventually falls in love with. And unfortunately, of course, the relationship, she breaks it off by the end of the movie, by the way. I mean, spoiler. So I know I'm getting ahead of myself. So he tracks her down. At first she doesn't trust him, he doesn't trust her. And then said, "Look, I'm doing a favor for your father. Your father asked me to protect you. And I'm the only guy who can keep you alive from this organization that your father was apparently involved with." And the daughter knew stuff about the organization that even MI6 didn't know. Well, all this stuff was going on. There's a subplot where Ralph Fiennes, who took over the part of M. And of course, Ralph Fiennes, of course, was famous for being the head Nazi in Schindler's List, and of course, The English Patient, and of course, he played the serial killer, the Tooth Fairy, the Red Dragon in the Red Dragon remake. Comes in, and I think he's the perfect actor right now at this stage of his career to play M. Anyway, there's a little subplot where MI5, who was run by this guy named C instead of Q, Bond calls this guy C. Wants MI5 to absorb MI6 and get rid of the 00 program. Not knowing, of course, not a spoiler, that C is actually working for Spectre to shut down the 00 MI6 and 00 program. Because if it does, Spectre, of course, feels that James Bond and the MI6 program was probably the only organization that probably could stop Spectre. But also, they feel that the C character was hyping, hey, we don't need MI6 anymore because we have the World Global Intelligence Unit now. Everybody communicates through computers and through the internet and through all this stuff. So we don't need to send people in, the 00 numbers in, and kill and have our agents killed, where everything is on communicate through the internet and through computers. So why do we need to send people out on the field anymore? So that was his premise. Not knowing that he was purposely wanting to shut him down because Spectre told him to, or told this C character to shut this organization down. Meanwhile, eventually, of course, Bond does, through the course of the adventures in this movie, infiltrates Spectre, and he finds out that Christoph Waltz, who was the guy, the main villain in Quantum of Solace, in the Quantum of Solace film, was the head of this of Spectre. And the other thing as well is the fact that they were raised as brothers when they were kids. Because James Bond's parents was established in Skyfall, that which was the previous James Bond film. James Bond's parents were killed when he was a kid, and he was trained to be a trained assassin the rest of his life. He doesn't know any other life, but working for MI6 and being a trained assassin. So, Blofield's father knew James Bond's parents, and of course, that had raised James Bond and Blofeld as their own kids. Even though Blofeld was not this character's original name, because Bond was calling him by his original name. Which I know I just saw this movie, but I forgot what the name was. But he says, "Don't call me that. My name is Ernest Sterno Blofeld." I said, "Okay, Blofeld." But and of course Bond supposedly blew up this place where Spectre was, with Blofeld in it. But unfortunately, Blofeld was alive and somehow got out of it, and of course he had that big famous scar down his face, which of course if you see the earlier Bond films, especially with Donald Pleasance, who physically originally played the part in I think Diamonds Are Forever, was one of the original actors that played Blofeld, even though they kept changing actors. Tracy Vallis played it. I forgot. And there was also a third actor who played the part as well. And Anthony Dawson, who played Professor Dent, Dr. No, was technically was actually the first one to play Blofeld, but I never saw his face. You just see him sitting in a chair petting a cat. And of course, they brought up the stupid cat thing in Spectre too, because the cat actually jumps on James Bond when he's in like a torture device with the needle going into his brain to kill him, to damage his brain. And he says, and of course Bond actually does says "Hi, pussy," in that scene. Of course, actually, could be a reference to, of course, his adventure in Goldfinger, when he never actually said "Hi, pussy," pussy galore. Anyway, of course, in the end of the movie, you had this big chase scene through London. Actually, up the Thames River, you see Big Ben, you see the Millennium Eye, which is the big Ferris wheel that London built for New Year's Eve 1999 into the year 2000. You see that, you just see the Millennium Dome. I don't know if it's still there or not. But when you see Big Ben, you see London Tower, and you see the London Eye, which was great. I mean, I think one other time before you actually see an action scene physically in London. They did that in, I think, one of the Pierce Brosnan films. Anyway, they did capture Blofeld at the end of the film, but unfortunately he was not killed. He was captured by Ralph Fiennes' character, and they did find out that C was involved with Spectre. So of course this whole idea, this plan actually did go through with MI5 taking over MI6 and dissolving the whole 00 program. But unfortunately, when they found out that it was all a big conspiracy with Spectre, I think by the end of the movie they're pretty much getting rid of it, or about to get rid of it, but by the time the movie ends. For itself, I think it's a decent film, even though they had that crazy plot point with Bond and Blofeld being raised as brothers as when they were kids, or stepbrothers. Of course, a lot of people complain about that particular plot point. But as a film itself, I think it's definitely one of the more decent Bond films, at least with Daniel Craig. I still feel uneasy watching Daniel Craig as Bond because it's very serious, and it's like one huge action sequence after another, almost. As soon as one ends, the next action sequence starts, and it gives you very little time to breathe with the Daniel Craig films. Now you can give the same argument with the Pierce Brosnan films, Bond films, but at least with Sean Connery and even to a lesser extent Roger Moore, at least they give you time to breathe and time to absorb what the actual plot is. It takes you a long time to even for the movie to tell you what the actual plot of this film is. And it's like, okay, and sometimes when watching the Daniel Craig Bond film, and this is the fourth one I've seen, I'm like, okay, where's the plot? Where was the plot in this? Where was the plot in this film? And it takes you. One thing I don't like is that it takes you like at least an hour, more than an hour, anywhere from between 45 minutes and at least an hour, or more than halfway through the movie, for you to even get for you to get a plot of the Daniel Craig Bond films. But at least in the early films you get what the plot is. At least with the Sean Connery films, you know almost right away with the plot of the movie within the first, I'll say 20-25 minutes. You know exactly what the plot is of this movie. Dr. No is almost right away within the first 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. You know what the plot is for Dr. No. Or even from Russia with Love within the first 20 minutes. With the Daniel Craig films, you get at least 45 minutes to about halfway through the movie before you realize what the plot was, because you have one action scene after another. I mean, you go crazy. Say, where's the plot? Where's the plot? Wow, there's a great action scene, and they're trying to wow you with the action scenes, and not reveal what the plot is. That's my problem with the Daniel Craig films. But for the most part, I think Daniel Craig is a pretty good damn James Bond because he's all serious. He doesn't give all that many wisecracks in the film, because Sean Connery and Roger Moore were more known for giving the wisecracks and have a funny comment at the end of an action scene, like in Goldfinger when the opening the teaser sequence in Goldfinger when Connery says shocking, absolutely shocking, and of course I'm not going to describe that scene because I already did that in my Goldfinger review, so please check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But for Skyfall, for Spectre, I think it's a pretty good film. Maybe not the best film, but at least it's enjoyable for me to watch it because, you know, if you're not paying attention to a movie, despite the constant action, one action scene after the other, and it's like as soon as one action scene ends, then the next one picks up, and doesn't give you a chance to breathe. And it doesn't mean it doesn't have a good. I wish they had more of a plot beforehand. As soon as the teaser sequence ended, they should reveal what the plot is first, and then Bond goes into whatever he has to do. But at least it's an enjoyable Bond, and also you do see a reference to not only the high pussy remark that Daniel Craig says, but you also have the famous James Bond. What's the most famous James Bond car? The Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger. And the opening sequence for Thunderball. You do see that in this movie. And of course, there's a real funny moment where Bond takes the car that Q was working on, go to another double O agent, 009, but Bond takes it. And of course, when he's being chased by one of Spectre's goons, who of course was actually played, I should mention this, was played by Dave Bautista, who was the former wrestler in the World Wrestling Federation. And that was a very, very good fight scene, similar to the fight scene between Bond and Red Grant in Russia with Love on a train. I thought it was one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a while. It was real tight in a close conference fight between him and an actual professional wrestler in Dave Bautista, or a former professional wrestler. And I knew it was Batista because I recognize, even though he has a beard now, I still recognize him as Batista. And they had a real great fight scene in Spectre. So I thought I enjoyed that fight scene, and I'm glad I mentioned that because I thought it was a great action sequences as usual in a Bond film, but particularly in the Daniel Craig films, they really up the action sequences. And at least in this movie, unlike the last Indiana Jones film, you can't tell if it's CGI or not. It makes it better. But for Spectre, I think this one is definitely better than anything is better than Quantum of Solace. Of the 4 Bond films, Quantum of Solace I think is like the worst one, even though it picked right up after where Casino Royale left off. It literally picked up right after that. But I think that this was definitely one of the better Bond films in Daniel Craig program. Or canon, I should say. Daniel Craig canon. But hopefully he'll do another one. There are rumors out there that Daniel Craig is not going to do them anymore. Because of maybe he's got tired of doing the part. But hopefully he'll do another one. So that's my review of the movie Spectre. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please feel free to comment, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all of my videos on not only my YouTube channel at valleyc.com, that's all WDY, the letter C.com. There's a homepage of the Valley Reviewer, Christine Moore, or I like to call him the TV Trash Guy. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Not just his own videos, but all the other videos that are on his website, because I'm not the only contributor to his website. Check out all of his other videos as well. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.